Welcome back, and you tune into Inspired Mornings with myself, Nafisa Dango, where, of course, we're going to be educating you about relative issues that you face in your life and also uplifting and empowering you in many directions by showcasing role models that have changed their lives for the better to be able to make you understand that, there is hope and faith out there, and we need to keep that in order to be able to find our potentials and move ourselves into a better space in our lives. And that's what it's all about. This morning, we're going to be speaking to Shahista Ebrahim. She's a holistic practitioner, an LP life coach, and a columnist. And she's going to be speaking to us on how to let go of fear, pain, and trauma and all that's holding us back in life. And I think the fear and the trauma is the most important aspect because that's what holds us back from many things that we want to actually accomplish in our lives. So a very warm welcome. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the show, Shahista.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is such a pleasure being here with you today, Nafisa. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, and yourself. And I think, as you know, we were speaking about the word hope and faith. And I'm very excited, and I'm starting to even lose my words here, to speak to you this morning due to the fact that we know that every single one of us are facing some form of fear, trauma, pain due to the COVID-19 period. So firstly, I want to thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and what it is that you're doing, because I think your work is absolutely phenomenal and you've moved people into many spaces, and that's what we're looking to do to our viewers this morning.
Jazakallah for that. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I've been through a lot of different vocations. I think finding the one that actually suited me. So being from a beautician, swimming teacher, aqua aerobics instructor. I've also taught in high school for a good many years. And every time I sort of left because it wasn't my niche. I wasn't finding what was me. And alhamdulillah, I came across NLP coaching. And I did that for like almost 10 years. And then I kind of branched out because NLP is very much about the mind. And I thought I wanted to be holistic. So I've actually now, just managed to put a whole lot of modalities together. So I work on a very holistic level. So it's physical, emotionally. I do some body talk. I do bars, excess consciousness, which is great. I do Afia healing. I'm a facilitator. I'm a CETA accredited trainer. And you mentioned columnist. So I try to just keep myself as occupied as possible. And really, I just think it's more about getting results as quickly as possible. I mean, nobody wants to stay stuck in a problem or in a problematic mind space for a long period of time. So the more I feel I learn, the more I bring to my clients, and the quicker the change and transformation is. And so that is basically my goal with my clients.
And I so agree with you. It's the transformation that matters. But I'm so excited. There's so many things I actually couldn't even keep up with your resume. There's so many things that you were doing to be able to help people through the challenges that they are facing. Let's talk about the situation right now. As we know, many people are facing this very serious trauma, because COVID-19 was something not anticipated and expected. It just pitched up there, was there, and we had to learn to deal with it. And I think many people, of course, react differently. Everybody's not resilient. Everybody doesn't accept change very easily. So let's give our viewers an idea of how to stop holding themselves back, because I think fear and trauma for me is something I think very important to be able to overcome, because those are the two most important things that actually, should we say, aspects that hold us from moving forward in our lives. And even when it comes to achieving our goals, in order to take that first step, we always, I think, thinking 10 times about it. Should I or shouldn't I? So let's talk through this particular pointage and see if we can assist our viewers with that.
Absolutely. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It has been a trying year. I think it's been such a trying year for most people. And you're right. It's difficult for even strong people, people that are resilient, people who've been to trauma and they kind of know how to deal with it. I think they're having a tough time. So for the average person out there, it has been really, really difficult. So about letting go, because that's what we're going to talk about. It's great to talk about everything that's happening, but we want to help everybody listening today to move forward, okay? And so the first thing that we always say with everything is awareness. So if you have an awareness of what's happening around you, if you start acknowledging, the first thing is it has to be an acknowledgement. I'm really going through a financial crisis right now. I don't know how to manage. I need help. That's acknowledgement. Or, my husband's been retrenched. We had to close our business and we really need support. That's acknowledgement. My health has taken a toll and I really don't know what to do. Please help me in whichever way. That's acknowledgement. So, firstly, we have to understand what we're going through, completely acknowledge it, because that is, when you normally go for an Alcoholics Anonymous kind of meeting or any of these support meetings, the first thing everybody says is, my name is Shahista and I'm an alcoholic. You have to start off with that, because remember, it is saying that, and the acknowledgement, that means that I'm aware of what I'm going through, and because I know it, I'm aware of it, I can now ask for help. Because a lot of people, and I promise you, you get calls that says you need to speak to this person. She's going through that, and when you're in the beginning, you're desperate for clients, you're desperate for people to come, and when you call the person, no, I'm fine, I'm absolutely well, I don't need help. So you need people to know that they actually want support. So that's the first part, is an absolute awareness and acknowledgement of what they're going through. The second part of letting go is really just asking for help. Okay, so help is in different ways. A lot of people like to help themselves, and I'd love to give everybody tips today on how to actually help yourself. So the first thing we do is we're hard on ourselves. We have the questions of why. Why me? Why is this happening to me? Why do I need to go through this? Why did Corona come? Why did it affect my family? And we know, sort of the looting now is well example. If you've been one of those people who've been affected, they're going to have these questions. So you have to sort of stop asking the questions of why and start getting into the how. How can I help myself from this point onwards? How can I get help? How can it get better from this moment? How do I help myself? What is the way forward? So those are rather the best ways to actually deal with that initially. Because if we're stuck in the whys, you never get out of it. And do any of us have a reason why? Do any of us have an understanding of why things happen the way they do? I mean, there's certain things are just beyond our control, right? So what you have control over is who you are and what you want for yourself. The other thing is you must want more for yourself, because somebody can say you need help, you need to let go, you need to move forward, you need this kind of thing, and you think I'm managing just fine. So people need to sit down and they really need to ask themselves, am I coping? Am I really doing well? Am I living the life, and not just with the pandemic and everything that's happening right now? I mean, I'm talking in their general life. Does everybody feel that they're happy? Do they feel that they're living their best? Are they in a happy space? Do they come out of? We all have our bad times. We all do. But how long do you stay in there? Do you brood there? Do you go and live there? Have you made a house in your mind where it's just doom and gloom? Or do you feel, okay, I go there, I do what I need to do, I spend some time, because that's my life, that's normal, we humans, and human nature is to sulk, it's to gloom, it's to feel bad. And then when I'm done with that, I need to come out of that. So how quickly do people come out? We know people go through depression, so some people can dwell in that space for up to...
Right. So we're going to talk about dwelling in that space in a few seconds when we come back. We're just going to go for a quick break, and then we'll be joining you in a second.
Perfect. It keeps on slipping.
Our water drive in the Eastern Cape region of South Africa. Donate your lilla towards the erecting of JoJo tanks in impoverished areas and for the vehicles to deliver water in areas of need. Donate to the Al-Fida Foundation. Visit our website at www.alfida.co.za or contact us at 041 484 1288.
Looking to get your kick? Kiki's have now reopened on 235 Matthews Maiwa Road in Durban. Head on over for the Taste with Kick. We offer something scrumptious for everyone in the family. Wraps, chicken tikka, burgers, tender grills, mocktails, milkshakes, and so much more. Corporate and events catering available. Visit our social media pages for more info or call 031 209 0119. Kiki's, the Taste with Kick.
Famine, conflict, and severe economic decline make the humanitarian crisis in Yemen the worst in the world. More than 20 million Yemenis do not know where their next meal is coming from, and over 10 million are suffering extreme levels of hunger. With your support, the Al Imdad Foundation delivers essential food aid to starving Yemeni communities. It's a question of survival. So let's do what's right. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
It's a new beginning. It's a new era. Salam Media, humanitarian journalism.
Welcome back to the show, and we're in conversation with Shahista Ebrahim, talking to us about the things that hold us back in life, and especially fear and trauma. Before we left for the ad break, we were talking about dwelling in that type of situation. Shahista, we were talking about how we kind of get stuck, should we say, in the rut of the situation, and we don't know how to get out of it. We literally get stuck there and say, well, this is the type of situation we're in. And as you say, we become mundane in our everyday situation where we just carry on doing what we always do, but not realizing that we have to take that first step in order to be able to get ourselves out of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And before I continue, I just need to say, your skin looks really good. You're glowing.
Jazakallah, thank you so much. I think it comes with the fact of, and we're talking about fear and trauma here. I think it's about having that positive outlook and that positivity. Yeah, and I think that's what it is. And I think my team helps me shine out there. They make me, they call this my happy space, and my family support as well. So shukr alhamdulillah for that. And as I was saying, as much as we all dwell in our spaces, I think what happens is, and I think what you'd agree with me, is having to create a support structure for yourself. Because there's times, as you were saying, where you dwell, and when you dwell and you're all alone, the mind tends to wander in many directions, and you find yourself in a space where literally you just don't know where to start or where to head to. But if you have those so-called support structures, they could possibly help you direct yourself, possibly to a person like you or somebody that they can confide in, and help them and direct them into something better.
Absolutely. Look, that is the ideal. That is what we really want people to do. If you're not sure about how to do it yourself, get professional help, because that is always the best way. I mean, we train to do this kind of thing. We can let go for people. We know how to handle, we know how to deal with the subconscious mind. But the amazing thing is, Nafisa, a lot of people are adamant. They always feel they're handling things, they're managing fine. And I think managing is not a good enough word to lose in one lifetime. You want to thrive. You just, you don't want to just manage. And that's what, so if people find it within themselves to ask for help, that is amazing. That is awesome. And that is the ideal, because we all need support. We all need people who've gone through something similar that we have, so they can give us a sound advice. They can send us in the right direction. But a lot of people feel they want to deal with it themselves. And there are tips and ways to go about it. And I will mention it. So I think the one thing we also are on ourselves as human beings, we're very hard on ourselves. When you go through something, you kind of blame yourself. I've had tons of women where every other problem has come from the husband, and they say, but I don't know what I did to bring this on. You tend to look at yourself and think, I wasn't good enough. I don't know, maybe I should have tried this. The maybes and the shoulds and what ifs, that keeps us spinning in the loop. And so the first thing we need to do, I think, is just calm down and breathe and start being kind to ourselves. So I think forgiveness is a great place to start when you want to let go. Let go of people that have hurt you. Let go of people that, circumstances. Let go of any situation that you're facing in your life. Because when you can do that, now you've freed yourself, because forgiveness keeps you stuck. Not forgiving, sorry, keeps you stuck. And even forgiving yourself, we're human. We're meant to make mistakes. We go through the motions. Life happens to us. We all don't handle it in the best way at the time. We do the best we can. So the first point would be firstly acknowledging that I do have this problem and I want to change it. And I want more for myself. And I want better for myself. And
Shahista, now that you talk about what I want more for myself, and I'm sorry I interrupted there, but I found there's a very important point that I want to bring up on this show is a lot of us, we're hard workers, we sacrifice ourselves many a times. We run around like headless little chickens all over the place, wanting to be a pleaser when it comes to many things. And then we find ourselves, becoming overwhelmed with the types of things we are doing every single day, because we literally have more on our plate than we anticipated initially, because we are those types of people that want to reach out as well. How would you what sort of advice would you give people for that? Because eventually at some point it does become overbearing, and then you find that anxiety and everything else that goes with it, because I think a lot of people feel guilty, and I know I'm one of those that I actually also should we say a guilt person, where we're the people's type of person, and when people are in the need of help, you just don't know how to say no.
Absolutely. So we do have those people pleasers. You're talking to one yourself. So it takes time,
Yes.
It takes time. And I think when you hit kind of rock bottom, because people pleasing means you've got to say yes to everybody despite what you're going through. So if you have difficulty in your own life, and you give everybody, you're just kind of piling on a lot of your own stresses. You're just making it more difficult for yourself. And I think when you see your health suffering, when you see your mind is just all over the place, where you can't cope with daily life, you have to sit down and say, I think I need to reorganize my life. I need to find boundaries. I need to have my foundation correct. I need to see what I can and can't do. And there are very nice ways, gentle ways to explain to people that as much as you'd love to help them, and you would if you could, right now is just maybe not the time. So I think it's self-love as well. It's importance, and it's about boundaries. And I don't think anybody wants to just say no for the sake of it if you're a people pleaser. It is because you probably hit a point in your life where you had to make certain changes. Otherwise, you find your health suffering. Do you know in every part of our body represents a specific emotion that we actually hold on to? So people have headaches. Okay, I have a lot of women that come and they have headaches. And the first thing they do when they say they have headaches, and I don't say, they don't say more than that. And I'll say, okay, so who's not validating you? Who's not making you feel important? And they're like completely shocked. Like, how do you know that? Because this, and then the more they get into the story, you completely see the whole picture. But that is what no validation does. It actually gives you headaches. And that's one of the emotions that sits in getting headaches. So when we start saying yes to everybody, and your health starts suffering, and you're going through the pain, and you can't get up in the morning, and you can't cope with your daily life, I think that's a real wake-up call for most people. That should be the point where you say, okay, this is becoming a bit too much. I need to sort of strategize my life. I need to give time to people, but when I can afford to, when I can manage, when my health says so, when my time says so. So boundaries, and boundaries only come when you actually value yourself, that now you're making time for yourself. So it all kind of comes down eventually to a bit of self-love.
And the trauma, how do we get over the trauma? I mean, I think many people at this point in time, through COVID-19, are suffering through trauma. And I think many of them don't actually realize that.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And when you feel that your mind's not in the right space, you've got the brain fog, if your body's giving trouble, there's trauma set in. So number one is obviously you see a professional if you're not managing. But I love giving homework to my clients. And the first thing I do when I see them is I really do believe and I endorse emotional freedom technique, which is the EFT. I mean, that is something you can do by yourself. It is wonderful. It works on the meridians of the body. So letting go, it can be easier when you're sort of just doing the technique itself, because it finds the emotion that you do. And what I love is when they come in, we normally think of something that may just bring up some kind of emotion. So they think of an incident and they normally rate it like a 9 out of 10 because it's kind of
Right.
very real for them. And then we sort of go through how to do the technique. And if everybody can Google it, that's great. And when they finish off, just practicing it and learning it, and then we say, okay, I want you to close your eyes, go back to the incident and have a look at how you feel now. They're sitting at a 2 out of 10. So to move somebody from a 9 out of 10 of a heavy anger, emotion, frustration, whatever it may be, to a 2 literally in 2 minutes, I think is spectacular. I think that is amazing.
Most definitely, without a doubt.
So if most people can learn that, that's great. Another beautiful tool and technique is writing things down, because every time we write, the mind needs to see things coming out of our system, because when we suppress, when we don't deal with it, we just hold everything back in. So when we write things down, it's sort of expressing, it taking out from inside everything that we're feeling, and then you can burn the letter. Completely watch it go up in smoke, and you tell yourself that all my troubles that I've been going through have just dissipated. They've gone out of my life, they're out of my body. My mind is clear. And remember, what you tell yourself is what your mind's going to remember, because your subconscious mind holds on to the messages you send it. So if you wake up every morning and you say, oh, today is another day, it's going to be an awful day, or today I feel so sick, today this is still happening in my life, that's how you're going to feel. So if you say, I've let it go, I've burnt it, I've done forgiveness, I've forgiven myself for being not perfect, I've forgiven certain people who've hurt me, but I let them go as well, your mind's going to get the message that I'm no longer wanting to stay in the space. I want more for myself. I want better for myself. I want to live more freely. I don't want to be held back. I don't want to be stuck. And your mind starts working with you, but you've got to give it some direction. Because if you've been doing something for 20 years of your life, and you start doing something once and you think, this doesn't work, it's not going to. You've got to give it time. You've got to be at it. It's practice. And then it becomes routine.
I so agree with you, and I'm glad that you brought up that most important point is mindset, because that's just what it's about. It's the way we see ourselves, the way we perceive ourselves, and of course that type of positivity that we create in our minds is what's going to help us overcome the most of it. I think that's what the gist of the whole situation is. That's how we deal with the scenario. What message would you like to leave our viewers with this morning?
I'd love to say that everybody deserves a great life, and everybody deserves to be completely happy, and everybody is going through something, but there are ways to navigate yourself around it. There are ways to help yourself. So take the time out to make you a priority and get to the best part of you, the best version of you. If you're living a life that hasn't been so great so far, you know you deserve more than this, and there are ways. So just, do it for your sake, do it for your kids, do it for the community, do it for the ripple effect it's going to have in the world. Just honor yourself enough to make yourself free of everything that's just holding you back. You know what you deserve.
Jazakallah so much. That was very inspirational. I think you've given us a lot of good food for thought to be able to take back with us and use those, should we say, you've equipped us with many tools that we could take back home with us and realize, sit down and see how it is that we can pan out a better journey for ourselves going forward. So Jazakallah, I really appreciate you taking the time out and enticing us. And I say time and again, because it's my favorite set of words, because it really does work. Enticing us into better spaces and places. Jazakallah. Thank you so much. Do take care of yourself and stay safe.
All the best to you as well, Nafisa. Thanks for having me. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shahista Ebrahim talking to us about how we should actually get over from holding ourselves back, looking at ourselves in a better way. And I think there was one word that stood out for me the most was the word mindset. It's the way we look at ourselves. And I think we ourselves stop us from moving forward by creating these barriers. And that's what we need to learn to overcome. So stay with us. We'll be back with you in a moment.